Welcome to the lounge. Welcome to the lounge.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
It's a great pleasure to have a fellow gunner just to review the game.
Yeah, definitely,
It
definitely.
was it was one of those games where we anticipated, 4-1, 6-1, 5-0, but Arsenal gave us that scare again once more with a newly promoted side.
I don't know. I think the tougher games that we've had, like the Man City, Tottenham, Atlanta, those were relatively easier game for my heart than this first games. I'm like, what's going on?
And
But
it's absurd because this game looked like a great opportunity for Arteta to kind of like shuffle things around, give some players opportunities to start the game, people that we feel need an opportunity to, stake their claim and also get some confidence back. But you see that guy called Gabriel Jesus. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. They should roll him up in a cotton ball and send him to Brazil. He has no business in the Premier League anymore.
honestly, but he was the highlight of everything that was just off today. Like everything. Sterling tried. Sterling did a decent job, right? I I know they took two of them off, but Sterling did a
Yeah.
decent job. But Gabriel was something else, right? I think when I was watching the match, it was only around there was one ball that I think was Gabriel that threw a long ball to him that he was able to beat the defender, and the defender held him back, and the defender got a yellow card. That
Yeah.
was like the only thing he did in the whole game. I was looking at it, I was like, but I think Martinelli went through the same spell, and I don't know if it's something you just have to give him time to get back there. But I don't know. Like it's
So look at the situation here with Gabriel Jesus. I agree. He's going through the same spell. Lack of confidence. His decision making is poor. He's overcomplicating things. Martinelli has gone through the same. He's probably still going through the same a little bit.
yeah,
But the challenge here we're having with Gabriel Jesus is that he's really no longer the first pick as a striker. If we had someone to pick ahead of Martinelli, Martinelli would be on the bench. But we really don't have an option on that left side that is better.
yes,
Do you get? So we would give Martinelli a leeway because aside from his attacking prowess, he puts in a shift defensively.
defensively, yeah.
So he's still contributing to the larger whole of the team. But you see Gabriel Jesus, what is he contributing? Tell me, is he a defender? No. Is he putting in the work in terms of work rate now as a midfielder? No. Is he combining with Saka?
No. See
No.
that ball. See that ball. Everybody saw it except him. I don't know how he did see that.
I'm like, the decision making is abysmal. No, look at it now. We got this player, signed him for over £40 million because of the respect, the experience, the potential, the talent, everything in order. He came off flying. Injuries, unfortunately, there's nothing we could have done about that. But there are certain things that we are looking at now in his game that we're wondering what is going on here. He's an intuitive player, instinctive player that on his game, on his day, he normally does things quickly. But now he's taking so much time, doing too many touches on the ball, overcomplicating things and not delivering at all. Now, I think he has just made the job easier for Arteta in terms of decision making. He's
Yeah.
not going to start a game. Because if you are going to start against a Southampton and you cannot pull up a goal or an assist in 45 minutes, do you want to now do that against Liverpool?
So that was exactly going to be my next point. I was like, it's not like they're giving him tough opposition to play against. Like Bolton, Southampton, Leicester. I'm like, bro, you have to do something in this game. These are easy games. Relatively easy games. If you can't
Yeah.
do it here, it's not against Man City, Liverpool, Newcastle, and all those guys that you'll be pulling it off. Like
Yeah.
that's the really frustrating side right now. I don't know if it's just done. I don't know if he's somebody that has an ego too that will be like, okay, how is it that all these people are coming in and they are going above me and I need to fight for my space? I don't know if he's that kind of a person. Because if he is, then maybe he will struggle, but like try and fight for his space. But I don't know if he's comfortable just
It's
being where he is.
it looks like it's been getting to him that he needs to fight for his space, right? And I feel Ateta has done his own part in giving him that opportunity. I don't think there is a better opportunity than starting in a game against Bolton,
Yeah.
starting in a game against Southampton. At least pick up some momentum, pick up some confidence from those kind of games by some contributions to goals or scoring the goals yourself. But he's not doing any of that.
Yeah.
So who are you going to blame?
Yeah.
Right now, in the order of the pecking order for strikers, Kai Havertz is number one.
Honestly.
No, number two, I will still pick a Trossard over Jesus.
At halftime, I was like, I'm even shocked Arteta let it go to like something. At halftime, I was like, bro, just take this guy off.
Roll him off.
Take him off. Like, I was like, bring Trossard in. See the gameplay between Martinelli and Trossard on that left side.
It was after we considered the goal now that Arteta knew that, hey, I'm not playing with this again. I'm not playing with this again. Sterling, thank you, get out. Jesus, please get your load off the field. And we had the business. Because you cannot doubt Saka, right? Saka always has his own part of the game, assured. But the combination of play with the people he has in that attacking position is also going to help his game. And we saw that when Trossard and Martinelli came on. Martinelli very direct, Martinelli making better decisions and impacting the game. Very sharp. See the look up that Saka crossed far post. Bam! Martinelli was there. I'm like, okay, this is our starting 11. Arteta knows for sure now that in the absence of our captain Odegaard, creativity wise, attacking threat wise, Trossard is the man to go to.
Trossard is the guy to go to, yeah.
Though I still have a little bit of,
Waneri
issues with before I even go to Waneri now should be the next guy even before Jesus in the pecking order, honestly speaking. Yeah. But you see, Trossard too is still giving me some icky moments where I feel he's being overconfident on the ball, being lackadaisical about some decision making because we could have gone maybe like 4-1 or 5-1 in this game if he had made some right decisions. There were moments like that. But talking about another part of the game that I took note of, the defense. Okay.
Let me see if you're trying to go where I'm going with this defense. So, before I jump in, maybe I might be off where you're going with this, but defense was solid. But Calafiori, he had two halves, in my opinion. In first half, this guy didn't want to play defense. He was strictly midfield, like balling nonsense. Like he was on it, right? But I noticed that second half, going toward the end of the game, they were turning him, like they were beating him. The defenders were beating him, getting crosses in. I'm like, I'm not sure. Like, either he was just tired or something. And I was like, that's how I wasn't surprised when
they took him off.
Because like he's getting, that side is becoming where they are getting more crosses in.
It looked like he was more interested in the forward play than his defensive.
He doesn't want to be a defender. That's all I can see. He doesn't want to be a defender. He wants to be a midfielder going forward. But
yeah, I would say I'm excited with him in the squad, right? I'm excited. The potential is there. The young Maldini-esque looking type of player, but he still has some improvement to do on his game defensively, right? But it's definitely an improvement on what we had in the previous season.
Definitely.
With Zinchenko, right? So his ball recovery ability is solid. I wouldn't take that away from him. However, I feel he got into that part of the game where he became leggy. He couldn't catch up with his man. He was turned around. Then the support he was getting defensively as well from the winger was not so much from Sterling, but we're more of an attacking threat. So we didn't really see that, create a lot of threat. But in the second half, we saw that dribbling boy was causing a lot of disturbances on that left side. So I just look at it that, he has improvement to make, but I'm happy seeing him in the squad, right? I'm happy with the way our left side is going to be looking. Look at what he's doing with Martinelli. We really didn't have that last season. So I'm seeing, moving forward, I'm seeing progress on that left side. Then having Partey on the right, I saw it as Arteta looking at the game like we're going to have more of the ball. We don't need to be, very defensively conscious. Partey had a very good game in my opinion. Very good game. So I'm just looking at it that, our defensive structure, our defensive shape, our defensive depth is without a question one of the most solid in the league. My only challenge now is our cutting edge on the attack in terms of conversion.
So that brings me, that point you just highlighted now brings me to something I was thinking about. I wasn't sure how January transfer market was going to look like.
Mm.
But I think everybody knows. I think even Ateta knows that if you're going for anybody, you're bringing in somebody to support that attack, to support Kai.
Yes.
That attack in January. I don't think we should miss out on that because
We can't afford
what
to.
happens to Kai, I don't know. I don't know.
I was just saying that to someone today as well, that if I don't see Kai on our starting lineup, I'll be bothered. Like, I didn't think I would feel this way about Kai Havertz
Yeah,
in an Arsenal team, where I'll say if I don't see Kai, I'll be bothered.
yeah,
A couple of months ago, we're like, if you don't see Kai, you're like, hey, now Ateta is thinking right. But
exactly.
now, that's just basically saying kudos to Kai. He has put in the work. He's a
Yeah.
different player entirely. The confidence. See how fast we came back into the game. That decision he made to
Yes.
strike the ball and give us
Yes.
a goal in close succession after we conceded. That was an important part of that game, because if we had stayed on maybe 5 to 10 minutes more without a goal,
Mm-hmm.
anything could have happened.
Yeah.
Anything could
Even
have
the
happened.
third goal, I think it was the third goal that he jumped. I think the player fouled him and he used his leg to like look at that kind of thing, man. Out of
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes.
those are very, very important things that this guy does for the team. His combination, we didn't have Odegaard combining with
Saka.
Saka today. So you could
Mm.
see him coming to that right side, him and Saka playing ball with Partey and everything. I was like, okay, that's good because Partey, like you said, he was focused more on the defensive side. Don't run too much, don't do too much, take it easy today, right? So
Yeah.
uh, Havertz, who was now in the midfield, combining with Saka to make that right side, make move, right? So
Yeah.
he was very instrumental today, but it's very obvious, like if Gabriel doesn't get his things things going for him very shortly,
No.
worry we are getting a striker. It's obvious.
No, we have to. We have to. Because look at the teams we are competing with, for instance. We are competing with a Man City, we are competing with Liverpool. Have you seen their attack depth?
Mm,
Especially Liverpool. They have great attack depth. Like, there are games where we don't even know that there's still a Nunes in that team. There's still a Nunes. There
mm,
are games where Cody Gakpo doesn't even have to start, and he comes off the bench and he still puts in a goal. That's an attacking quality. So if we are supposed to compete with teams like that, we should have that. And
yeah,
we clearly don't. We
yeah.
clearly don't. So see someone like City now. Oscar Bob, I will take an Oscar Bob. How many times have you seen Oscar Bob even play this season?
Exactly.
So that's to tell you that we are lagging behind. So take for instance, even Aston Villa, Oli Watkins. I'm looking at that John Duran boy. Like, where did they get this one from?
Bro, he's another trusted mad guy. Every game he comes on, he scores.
I'm like, what's going on? Who is scouting for an attacking player for us now? Are we just looking for ready-made guys? We should also have some options that we are looking at as, okay, these guys don't have the notoriety, but they have the ability, right? They can come in and do a job. They can get, some critical acclaims to that position. John Duran is someone that nobody really heard of.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, we should have someone of that ilk
Yeah,
in our team that can come in and step up. We let Nketiah go, which I feel is,
it was the right.
it was the right decision. Yeah, it's the right decision. But we did not bolster up with an option. Because look at Gabi Jesus. We are just talking now about his ability in terms of decision making, in terms of his contribution to the play. But have you also forgotten that Gabi Jesus is very injury prone? So even if Gabi Jesus gets back to his
For
glorious form,
I give us 4 games.
what are we saying? So the only person that is guaranteed to continue as our center forward up top is Kai. And that is too slim. Too slim.
Is too risky. I think, like you said, our defense seems very comfortable right now. I
Mm.
think we're very concerned about the role of missing Odegaard. But what
Yeah.
has shown us is we can adapt, we can move forward even without another. Because that was my one other big concern I had in the team. And
Yeah.
Sterling being available, we have somewhat cover for Saka, right? If things were to go south, somewhat not the same, but somewhat. It's not the same. At least you
I
play
like that you came with that word somewhat, because now we've seen him and we're like,
exact.
the gap is too much. The
The gap
gap,
is much.
the gap will be too much.
Gap is much, but I think from what I can say, I think Sterling might be suffering from, because in the little bit he's been with us, I know he's always been at top clubs and everything, but in the
Yeah,
little bit he's been with us, he has in the Bolton game, it took him a while before he warmed up into the game, and then he started taking it like
yeah.
the game by himself. But even this game too, he still had potential more than someone like a Jesus. Like, so I think like over time he understands the team and he will start getting what is expected of him. Like the potential is there.
Yeah.
Over time he'll bring it up. Like I can see some
No, there's
change.
certainly promise of
Yeah,
experience. See, we cannot throw away the fact that Sterling is a sterling player.
exactly,
His records, how long he has been playing on a high level for, you cannot take that out of his game. But he just needs to come back in terms of confidence. We saw it with Kai Havertz, right?
exactly,
It's a confidence thing for some of these players, regardless of the experience they've had in the league. Sometimes they need a run of games to pick up their confidence back. So I'm hopeful, especially when it comes to Sterling, knowing that he's
yeah,
not an injury prone
yeah.
guy. He is a strong option coming up from the bench. But another player I'm happy about right now that is coming to the fore for us in Arsenal now is Ethan. I know that Ethan gives us options. He gives us options aside from midfield options. He also can play on the right where Saka is. So that's also an option. Um, I'm just happy with the fact that Saka is still holding the standard high. Right, he had a very good game, two assists and a goal. He was very sharp to have
Massive game.
intercepted that pass and just make a meal out of it. So ah, altogether, I would say Arteta gambled, right, by giving the other fringe players an opportunity, but they disappointed him. I'll say they really did
That is
disappoint him in not having the cutting edge, and he took the initiative to make a change and brought about great substitutions with Trossard, Martinelli, and even Moreno.
Marino. Yeah,
Moreno came to cool down the game. He came
yeah,
to give us something in terms of physicality.
yeah, exactly.
We had a threat of having challenges in terms of having a turnover of games where they counter us from our attack,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in that kind of scenario, you don't want a Jorginho that cannot catch up with the turn of
Exactly. Yeah.
game. So we had Moreno, and his distribution too is also very good.
He was
Uh,
solid.
yeah, so I'm just excited with the fact that we have that coming into the team right now. It's going to take some time to bed in for sure, but we know that our left side of our gameplay is going to be steaming up with some creativity
Yeah.
from Calafiori to Moreno to Martinelli. I'm happy to see how that arm of our team will work. But talking about player ratings, to start with David Raya, I will unfortunately say that he didn't have a great game. Neither did he have a poor game. He didn't have so much to do, but the
Yeah.
little he had to do, he didn't handle it as we would expect. That time when he punched the ball out, he
Yes.
missed the punch, and that was an opportunity for them to actually.
Almost a goal. Yeah.
It struck the bar, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? If we had considered at that point, that would be too much pressure to deal with.
Yeah.
So I'll just say, for me, I'll give him a 6, right?
Uh,
Conceding a goal,
I will agree with that. I'll agree with
not claiming the ball at the right time. So, but typically, I will give him that 6 because we hold him to a higher standard of not, even conceding anything. But leave it at that. And even just to segue a little bit to Ramsdale, I felt for Ramsdale like coming back to the Emirates is is the basket is the
it.
basket of the league.
In two ways, right? I think that game just showed us like there were a couple of crosses we had so many corners in this game, right?
Yeah.
And I could see why Arteta at some point was like, we need somebody who holds on to the ball. Like it's wanting to punch it and then is in chaos. Like when the keeper
Hmm.
comes, like the Raya does most of the time, and just holds onto that ball.
Clean,
It's
clean.
really smooth, right? I know he didn't do much today in that regards today, but it just put at that comparison between two of them. But I really appreciated the fact that after the game, the ovation that the Arsenal fans, even me at home, I was standing and clapping for Ramsey.
Yeah, exactly. Even at home, like my wife was like, is he back? I'm like, no, he's not back.
The guy is loved, man.
he's just loved by the fans, and
Loved.
he's a top lad. He's just we saw why that decision was made. You know, in the first half, he actually had an error that we could have taken advantage of, and everybody would talk about it. That you see why he's not playing
Uh,
for Arsenal anymore. He had that error again, but altogether he did some good things.
yeah,
But I'm not going to rate him because he's not an Arsenal player.
exactly.
Let's 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 look at the next man in line, which is Thomas Partey in right back position. I think he did a great job. I'll give him a 7. 7 for a standard good performance from a player of his ilk. He didn't put a foot wrong, I would say, compared to what I would have said maybe like a couple of weeks ago, because I was having issues with him some weeks ago. But right now he's warming up, he's getting to that standard that we expect of him, where he's dictating the play. And he did that from that position. So I would say a 7. I know you might want to rate him higher, but I'll just.
So for your rating, I just have a question. For your rating, do you do the some people go 7, it's either a 7 or 8. Do you go 7.5? Do you do that, or it's just his whole numbers 7 or 8?
I'll say whole numbers. I'll say whole
Okay,
numbers.
okay, I'll give him a 7. I'll give him a 7
Yeah.
because there was no offensive side to the game. It was more,
Mm.
at least in the second half. Yeah, he was more offensive, but like for the beginning of the game, he was just like stay back, be in that line of 3, you, Gabriel, Saliba, and he did that superbly. And there was not a lot of defensive for him to do. Because there was no threat on the right hand side for most of the game. So I'll give me a standard 7, yeah.
Yeah. So what would you give our centre backs, our rock of Saliba and Gabriel?
So I'll give Gabriel an 8.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll give Saliba. That's why I asked that question. Like, can we do a 0.5? Because I want to give Saliba an 8. But that goal, I feel like he
You
could
could
have
have you could have committed more.
he could have defended better. That's why I know
Mm.
I'm hesitant to give him a 8. I'll give him a. If we can't go 7.5, I'll give him a 7.
7. And why would you give Gabriel an 8 over?
Well, I think in terms of just like forward play, being defensive, like progressing the ball, like though he didn't put any foot wrong today. Like he
Okay.
did what he had to do
Mm.
superbly. Like there was no issue, and he was able to progress the ball. He was making plays on the left hand side. So I think he was solid. Like I said, 2 of them were very good, except that one chance that I felt like normally if I'm seeing somebody going 1-on-1 against Saliba, I'm very confident.
Yeah, very
When
cool.
he brought it back and scored, I was like that. And I know Saliba almost defended that because it came off his shin, I think, or his leg, and that's what spun it wider, right? But
Wider, yeah.
I still, yeah, I'll give me a 7.
Okay, no problem. So I think it's agreeable. That difference is a major difference in terms of what Gabriel contributed in terms of the overall play. Moving forward, he had a lot to do, right? And he did everything well. He didn't put a foot wrong. The only thing that could have maybe made me want to rank him as an 8 is probably a goal, right? But for a defensive performance, I would still say 8. For a
Yeah,
defensive performance, 8 is solid. Then looking at Calafiori. Calafiori is an interesting one because you might want to rate him based on the two halves differently, right? Like
yeah,
the first half was a different performance altogether. Second half was a little bit shaky,
yeah.
but altogether, me, I'll still give him a 7, right?
I'll give him a 7 because the first half I would give him an 8 for sure,
Yeah.
and the second half would definitely be like a 6.5. So
So average it to a
on
7.
average, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I'm looking forward to what he's going to be unfolding in terms of his gameplay and maturity as he beds in properly with the team. He's still fresh off the boat, but he's doing great for the time he has spent so far.
I think also on that note too is, I think someone was alluding to this point that you don't want to. Arteta is also trying to be careful because a creative player, a player that has that confidence, you want them to express it. If they're not making mistakes, let them express it, and then you take time in building that defensive side. But if you just bring him back and say, okay, this is where you have to be, don't go forward and everything,
Yeah,
you kill a lot of potential, which we need.
potential.
Because, like I said, in this game, you just see Gabriel Saliba Partey. He's in the midfield. Making that midfield like we're having so many men in that midfield. And the way his ball progression is really solid, right?
Yeah,
So I think that's probably why Arteta hasn't probably not really a big fuss about it. He just give him time,
yeah.
little by little, just teach him the Arsenal way of defending and all of that. But
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'll say he's in the best place to be right now for his career in Arsenal. Looking at the coach he's working with and the quality of players that he's going to be surrounded by, and hopefully, I know Ateta will get the best out of him. He's a very good man manager, no doubt. Then moving forward to midfield, starting with Jorginho because he started the game. I don't think Jorginho did anything wrong. He had those gameplay moments where he's actually breaking the line with his passes, distributed the ball really nicely. The only thing that I would just take away from him is the fact that, against the run of play, he's nowhere to be found. So I'll give him a standard 7 for a mature performance from him. I don't see any reason to, mark him lower. He actually did well. I typically like him in games like in the Champions League games. His maturity helps us a lot in
Yes.
those kind of, games. But you see this Premier League is just so intense. And I don't know if he has the intensity for, high ticket games like, when we're facing teams like Liverpool, City, Aston Villa, Newcastle, and all those kind of teams. But yeah, 7 for me, I feel is fair for him. What would you give Jorginho for this game?
Uh I think I can agree to that. I can agree to 7. Like, I think I expected a little bit more, but
Mm.
I can agree to that. I can agree to that.
Now, talking about expecting a little bit more, I think that's where we'll now put someone that we expect so much from on the table for dissecting, which is Declan Rice.
Okay. So what do you think?
Declan Rice, I'll give him a 6 by his standards. By
Okay.
his standards, his distribution was not so good. He was getting into some tackles that he was not getting the job. His interception game today was not on it. But all honestly speaking, on a normal day, this would be a 7/10 performance. But because of the standards we hold him on to, because of the omission of the captain, we have an expectation of him that I feel he fell a little way below that expectation. Hence, I'm going to give him a 6. His deliveries in the corners, we had too many corners.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had too many corners to not have taken advantage of them. So
Yes.
I felt if you're sending the ball to the, not to the far post, but to the near post, and it's not working out because they understand what's going on, how about you switch it up?
Yes.
Yeah, so he was not as incisive in terms of switching up the tactics, but yeah, he didn't have a bad game. Not
Yeah.
the only reason I'm going to give him a 6 for my own opinion is that he was below the expectation.
Yeah. I think I'm aligned with that. And that's why I said I would have given Jorginho probably a 6 too, because I feel like
Yeah.
they didn't set a foot wrong. They just did what they needed to do. In today's game, where you have a lot of where the opposition is sitting back, I
Mm.
expected a lot of like today's game. I missed Odegaard. I feel
Yeah.
like he would have broken that. Like he would have made some passes I was seeing, and I was like, this
What's
guy,
going on?
he would have made it. There's no way he would have made it. He would have opened something up. So, yeah, I'll align with that 6 for both. I know I gave Jorginho a 7, but I think I'll change that. I'll give both of them a 6.
A6.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, a fair point. Fair point. The only reason why, I'm just going to be lenient to say, okay, maybe Junior a 7 because he basically didn't do anything
he
wrong.
did
And
it.
the,
Yeah,
the expectation for him, for me, as far as Premier League is
I
concerned, not so high. So I'm like, let's give the OG respect. But it's fair if you give them 6s.
yeah,
Not bad. They didn't really do. As far as Jorginho is concerned, he didn't do bad. As far as Declan is concerned, he could have done much more, right? And he didn't live up to the expectation. But looking at the third man in the midfield,
solid,
Kai Havertz, I
solid,
wouldn't even say it was a midfielder. It was more of an attacker in this game.
solid,
He's in contention for man of the match.
bro. Himself and Saka is like
That's that's those are the
both of
guys. Those
them
are
were
the guys.
something else today.
Those are the guys.
Both of them were
I'm
something.
I'm wondering. So this guy was in Chelsea all along, and people were saying he's a terrible player. I'm like, then there's something wrong in Chelsea. I'm not here to talk about Chelsea, but I'm really impressed with the player he's turning out to be for us at the Arsenal. His total contribution to the game, his press. In the absence of Odegaard, I was bothered about the fact that he's not going to have his press partner because both of them really coordinate a
Yeah,
press very well. But in the absence of Odegaard, he's still
he's
coordinating a
still there.
press. Aerially, he's still a threat, and the doggedness of his play. I'm loving it. I'm
He has
loving
some
it.
dribbles. Like the guy is fast. Like he moves some. I'm like,
For
wow.
his size, you would
Yeah.
actually wonder like how is this guy moving like this? He's freakishly fast and strong for
Yes.
how he appears to be.
Yeah.
So I'll give him a 9.
Honestly, if you had said anything lower than a 9, I would have fought you on that. I
I
would
was,
have fought you on that one. I'll give him a 9, solid.
yeah, I was having 8 in my head, but I'm like,
No,
nah, I
no,
can't, I
no,
can't, I can't
no.
do that.
The
I
guy
can't
was
do that.
he was solid. He was solid.
Solid.
Like he
Same
was.
also, I will look at Saka and say solid,
The only
solid, solid
reason why I
performance.
would give a Harvard a 10 per
Mm,
se was the first half wasn't like he came alive in the second half. If I'll put it that way, like the first
yeah,
moving too slow. Not I didn't see his impact as much. Like I saw it in the second half. So that's why I'll say okay. It wasn't for you to get a 10. It's a perfect like.
perfect game, first both halves. Right.
That's why I'll give him a 9. I'll drop to a 9. Like I'll give him a 9. But he was solid today. Solid.
So talking about solid, we'll move on to the next solid guy, who's Saka. Saka, star boy, always delivering, always
Oh
delivering. I'm happy for him. 49 goals now in Premier League for the Arsenal at the age of 23. He's on track to break some good records. But altogether, he has been delivering like solid performances. And one of the things I just look at and just feel bad for him for is the absence of his captain, that's Odegaard, which has taken a little bit away from his goal tally, but he's still having major contributions. I won't give him a 10, yes, because he was drawn back by the combination play in the first half with those mugs. So I'll give him a 9 as well. I'll give him a 9 because
yeah,
by the start, I would say he's the man of the match. A goal and 2 assists. That's a major impact in the game.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah. I agree with that. I think if you once the games, I think I even made a note. I was like, this guy is just unplayable today. I think they started off with one man on him, and as the game progressed, they were like, "This
3.
is foolishness." They had to get 2 men on him because he was just beating them. And
Yeah,
there was
and
he put one player on the floor. How many times? I was like, "What is going on here?" But he was absolutely he was on.
no, we are fortunate to have him. Honestly speaking, we are fortunate to have him as a homegrown player because
Mm,
right now he's doubtlessly a world class player.
yeah,
Multiple time Ballon d'Or nominee is obviously world class, and I'm just waiting and hoping for Odegaard to get back, and also for him to go on this international break that unfortunately has come again and not get injured. Though I know Saka is a strong boy, he hardly gets injured for a long duration of time, but I just pray that he comes back hale and hearty to go on for the next games. Now moving on to the attacker that we are
um,
supposed to have. That is it's supposed to be Jesus now. Jesus was supposed to be the attacker, but I don't know. I don't know where to put him on that field. I don't know where to put him on that field. I'll give him a 4. I'll give him a 4
honestly,
because
he was below average. He was
I can't say it was average because
he was
aside I won't even talk about the expectation we have or the caliber of player. Is I can't even use caliber and Jesus in the same sentence right now.
like it's one thing like you said it's not the defensive play, it's not the offensive play. But I think even beyond that too, there are some passes like like the one he was supposed to pass through to Saka. You are beating the first man. It was obvious. Why are you bringing it back on your side? It was
Why?
clear. It was clear. Just it's not like there was anybody obstructing you. Just put the ball through. Saka was through on goal. Like those kind of this. Even Saka had to raise his hand. Like what's going on?
What's going on?
Yeah. So I think yeah, it was below average. It was below average. I'm not giving up yet on the guy because I know Martinelli was in that same boat just last season, running into this season, where there were like clear chances and he would just balloon it or do something off. Um, well, he really needs to step up because right now, we sent some people out, we brought some people in, we brought in more quality, less head count, but more quality.
More quality.
Because some of these people, like someone like Gabriel, probably Sterling, we're expecting them to. when in certain games you don't need your first 11. These people can come in and hold the fort.
And that
If
was this game.
if exactly games like this, right? If they're not holding the fort, it takes us back to where Arteta is now for
Absolutely.
the same 11 for the rest of the season, right?
Yes.
So we
Yes.
really, really need them to step up their game. Like Trossard came in today, and even in that I know he made some decisions that were all, but like the flow of the game was better. He was combining with Martinelli a
He
lot.
showed us what we're clearly missing.
Exactly. So I
He
was like,
showed us what we're clearly missing. Like he he's too far an upgrade on Jesus that it bothers me. Like, how can the gap be that much? Come on. In
yeah,
terms of age, he's older.
yeah,
In terms of experience, he has not played with as bigger clubs that Gabby has played with. Come on. So I'm just really disappointed with what he's bringing to the team. I hope he gets his confidence back. I'm basically looking at a scenario where Ateta is not going to be starting him in any of the games until he comes off the bench to make a major impact. Then he can lay claim to starting, because starting a game is not it's
yeah,
not your birthright at the Arsenal. You
yeah.
have to stake a claim. We've seen where Martinelli wasn't really delivering. Trossard came, put in a goal, and everybody's like, you know what? That game against Aston Villa, right? After that game, everybody saw it that this guy is having more impact in the game, starting, and that happened. So you have to take a claim with the coach. He's
Exactly.
not doing that. So if he does right now, in my opinion, he should come off the bench even in Carabao Cup.
I was about to say at least give him Carabao Cup.
You should come off the bench. You come off the bench. Give the young talents that are hungry to stake claim, right? More opportunities. Give Ethan more opportunities. I am okay with that. But you see this Jesus guy. Let him come off the bench. Let him start getting goals, right? Don't come and waste our time with all these
Yeah,
multiple touches that don't bring about any productivity. So Sterling, I'm just going to give Sterling a 5 as well. I'll say Sterling was
yeah.
average. And I'm just hoping that, he can get out of the rut that he's currently in, mentally speaking.
I think it will. Because I see a lot of the potential there. I feel like at least as the games have progressed, after Bolton, like seeing him against today against Southampton, I see the desire to want to beat the player. Maybe he's just not connecting well. Maybe his
Yeah.
confidence is low, but he's at least attempting it and trying, right? There was a chance I think it was Saka that I don't remember who did it, and Ramsey saved the ball, and then you see the way that was it. Jesus should be in that position,
Yes, his
but
reaction is a lot better.
getting it right. So
Positioning a lot better. Yes.
I see a lot of drive from me. I think it's just a matter of time.
The time. No,
Um,
he would
he's
have games. He would
yeah,
have games.
we have games right, so
Carabao Cup starting.
he also wants to prove his value that, whoa, what Chelsea did to me was a wrong decision. I'm better than that.
Yeah,
Because he's not going to, if he doesn't do well in Arsenal, there's no way he's ever getting back in that Chelsea team, right?
definitely.
So
Definitely.
he has to try and prove his worth, even if it's like, okay, even if Arsenal don't decide to take me on, I can get a good club
A
or some
different club, yeah.
club to take me on, right? So
Absolutely.
he's motivated to do that. Again, that's why I was like, I don't know about Jesus. I don't know if he's motivated. I feel like he's just okay. Like, okay, I'm here taking my pay. I'm good. I'm chill. Like, so that's why I say I don't know. I don't know.
Changing hairstyle every 2 weeks.
So I don't know, but
Yeah, so I think I have more hope in Sterling than in Jesus right now.
yes,
And not that I have anything against Jesus, it's just what we've seen is not really encouraging. I hope at some point in the season he proves us wrong, right? And show us why he is at the Arsenal. But if you ask me, come summer, please let him go.
yeah. Come summer, let him go.
Let him go.
Come January, please bring somebody, please.
No, yeah. See, that January, I don't mind. Bring someone from Bundesliga, bring someone from a different place, or bring someone from a different. Bring someone that you can say is a potential to kind of like step up, a young striker. I don't mind, but we
Yeah,
need an attacking option. We
yes.
need an attacking option. Just to quickly go over the substitutes that came on: Trossard, Martinelli, Moreno, Tomiyasu. Let's start from Martinelli. A goal. We cannot give him anything less than a 7. that 7 is just simply because he came in as a substitute, but he had a wonderful performance.
He had a beautiful performance. Like the way he handled that left side. Like I said, him and Trossard, I don't know what came into both of them. Their link up together today was just on
Really good.
another level. He was solid. That run, the timing of that run, like the finishing,
Immaculate.
he had finished. He has missed a lot of easier chances that I was just
Yeah,
like,
you
he
get it.
that one in.
You get it.
I was
I'm like, how did you get that? And you missed that one. Even in the what game was it? Was it in Champions League?
like,
That he actually there was a real nice combination play between him and Havertz just laid it up for him, and he just sent it straight to Donnarumma. I'm like,
yeah,
what's going on with this guy? What's going on with this guy?
yeah,
But fair play to him. He had a great performance.
yeah.
I see that his confidence is coming back up. I'm really happy for him.
Yeah.
And
He's
long may it continue. That's my prayer for him.
long may continue. But we need we need both sides firing.
Firing, yes.
Last season, the double marking on Saka was just, if you decide you want to send 2 men on Saka, that's to your own peril. We'll just say,
Yes,
which is just
absolutely.
as effective too. So
That's the idea. That's the idea. So I will give him. We'll give him a 7.
I give him
7.
a real solid.
Yeah. Then Trossard. I,
I'll give Trossard a 7, and this is my reasoning. I know there was
okay.
some, like there was the play that he was supposed to. I think he was supposed to lay it off to. It was a counter attack, and I think he was supposed to lay it off to Saka, or was it Martinelli on the side? Well, he scuffed it, right? So
Yeah.
he was trying to, and then he scuffed it.
I
We
think
had,
that was the goal. That was the goal that Saka scored. Actually.
yeah, that was one Saka scored. But I think it was an easier play. The way he was going, just lay it off to Martinelli and he'll finish it off.
Yeah.
Hopefully, on today's game, he would have finished it off. But on previous experience, we can't
You
trust
won't do
Martinelli.
that. You won't trust Martinelli with that.
But
Honestly.
But other than that, he was very effective. He was linking up with everybody: Merino, Martinelli, Saka, Havertz. He was literally owning that midfield when he like there was no he took ownership of that midfield once he came in, and it was really a pleasure to see him take that, because like someone said the other time, it's like it's very hard to say, oh, we're not missing Odegaard.
Okay.
Like we know we are missing him because of some play, but like to go through the stretch we've gone through,
Without Odegaard.
Odegaard, he would have, but he has taken ownership of that. And today, I think I'll give him a 7 just because the link up.
Yeah, I won't dispute it. I won't dispute it. In fact, I will say that 7 is also because he came on as a sub. But you
Yeah,
know those their performances, both of them, Martinelli and Trossard, those were 8, 9 over 10 performances
yeah,
in terms of how they impacted the game, right?
exactly.
So solid. Moreno, I would say Moreno for me, I'll give him a 6.
6.
He didn't do anything that outstanding, but he kept the game ticking on nicely. He had some moments in that game where he made some good interceptions and also distributed the ball down the flank to Martinelli at some
And
point.
I was about to say there was that
Yes,
ball he swallowed. Like, okay, I see.
that was in the 94th minute. I took note of that and I'm like, I see a glimpse of what we should be expecting in the coming future with that combination between Martinelli and Moreno, because that's one of the powers that Martinelli has, running in behind players, the pace. We need someone that can deliver that ball to him.
If Merino can make those plays, it gives us something else in our
Midfield,
exactly that is a
breaking the lines, balling behind. We need that. We need that for
yeah,
someone, especially someone like Martinelli that has the pace.
yeah.
And that's one of the things I looked at for Sterling as well. That it's unfortunate that we were into a game where there was a very low block for the first half. But one of the powers I see from Martinelli and Sterling in terms of the way they play is running in behind.
Yeah.
And